The Philippines held 138.5 million barrels of proven oil reserves as of 2016, ranking 64th in the world and accounting for approximately 0% of the world's total oil reserves of 1.65 trillion barrels. Despite being a gem in Southeast Asia, the Philippines has not relied on oil and gas to fuel its economy like its neighbors. While surrounding countries have thrived on their rich oil reserves, the Philippines has lagged behind, producing a mere 9,000 barrels per day compared to a hefty daily consumption of 429,000 barrels. Total oil reserves in the Philippines are less than even a single year of oil consumption, making the Philippines highly dependent on oil imports to sustain its consumption levels. To solve this problem, the Philippine Department of Energy has outlined an ambitious twofold agenda of attaining energy security and implementing power market reforms by 2040. The Philippine oil and gas sector intends to increase reserves and production of local oil, gas, and coal, improve downstream oil industry policies for a continuous supply of high-quality and high-quantity petroleum products, and establish an investment-driven natural gas industry in the Philippines. Additionally, on-site or small-scale power generation using marginal gas fields will be promoted. Despite this imbalance, the Philippines is sitting on a gold mine of untapped oil deposits. Within its 200-mile exclusive economic zone, there are oil reserves valued at an astonishing $26.3 trillion. Imagine that. A treasure trove spread across the archipelago, with reed bank and reefs in the Spratly Islands holding the largest shares. Reports from the U.S. Geological Survey and China's Ministry of Geology and Mineral Resources suggest that the Spratly Islands alone could hold up to 17.1 billion barrels of oil. Recently, even more deposits were found in the Sulu and Celebes Seas, potentially making the Philippines' oil wealth surpass Kuwait's 13 billion barrels. This discovery could transform the Philippines from an oil importer to an exporter, reducing the soaring gasoline prices that pinch Filipino pockets almost weekly. Essentially, the Philippines is poised to become a significant player in the global oil market. However, unlocking this potential isn't straightforward. Geopolitical disputes and security challenges, particularly around Reed Bank and Mischief Reef in the contested Spratly Islands, have stalled progress. These areas, rich in hydrocarbons, are claimed by multiple countries, including China, Malaysia, and Vietnam, creating a complex web of territorial conflicts. Imagine if these resources were fully tapped. The Philippines could see a monumental shift in its economy. Currently, the oil industry's contribution to the GDP is a mere 0.19%, but with commercial production, this could skyrocket. For instance, Indonesia, Southeast Asia's leading oil producer, pumps out about 743,000 barrels per day, contributing approximately $140 billion annually to its economy. If the Philippines can achieve similar production levels, it could add over $150 billion to its GDP annually, surpassing Thailand's economy and making it the second largest in the region. This economic boost would ripple across various sectors. Lower production costs could make the Philippines a more attractive hub for manufacturing, drawing foreign investments and creating jobs. Transportation and commodity prices would drop, leaving more money in the pockets of Filipino families, driving down inflation and increasing disposable income. Yet, the road to this prosperous future is fraught with challenges. High oil prices currently drive inflation, with a 10% rise adding 0.4 percentage points to inflation rates. The Central Bank of the Philippines projects that soaring oil prices could drive inflation to between 2% and 6%. Producing oil domestically would help mitigate these pressures, ensuring energy security and economic stability. The Philippine government anticipates that the population will increase from 105 million in 2017 to 148 million by 2040. Such plans are critical as the country faces a loss of nearly 30% of its fuel supply, which will impact approximately 3,000 megawatts of generation in 2024, when the Malay and natural gas fields are expected to be depleted. The nation needs to find a new energy source to compensate for this loss and support its economic growth and infrastructure boom. The immediate plan involves encouraging offshore investment and developing liquefied natural gas infrastructure. The Department of Energy has created the Philippine Conventional Energy Contracting Program to promote offshore exploration. However, interest has been low due to concerns over contract sanctity, and the nation lags behind its association of Southeast Asian nations' neighbors in exploration efforts. The Philippines' onshore and offshore territories are rich in hydrocarbons, yet remain underexplored and underfunded due to security issues. Despite this, recent discoveries such as the 37,000 barrels per day production and significant finds in regions like Alriasu and the Ligan Marsh highlight the untapped potential. The Malampaya field, 50 kilometers west of Palawan Island, has produced substantial natural gas and liquids, powering 5 Luzon-based plants. Future prospects include fields in Cagayan Valley, Bohol, Mindoro, Palawan, and Cotabato. The Ligan Marsh alone could hold 3.4 trillion cubic feet of natural gas and 4.8 billion barrels of crude oil. The Benham Rise off Aurora Province, although lacking oil reserves, is rich in minerals and aquatic resources. Prospective fields in the Sulu and Celebes Seas offer further promise. While the government has ambitious plans, there is concern about whether there will be enough non-Chinese foreign investment to ensure true competitive development in this sector. Liquefied natural gas has attracted great interest despite ambiguous policies and high initial investment requirements. Furthermore, despite significant interest to date, all projects, with one exception, are still at the permitting stage. Many of the large power generators in the Philippines are interested in utilizing gas as part of their portfolio mix. However, they are not willing to invest in the necessary infrastructure as first movers. A lack of incentives for liquefied natural gas use further discourages foreign investment and participation. Should the nation be unable to address the challenges in both offshore exploration and liquefied natural gas development, it will face a significant energy crisis. Nationally, oil and gas drive the transportation sector and are the primary fuels for power generation. Petroleum products now constitute 50.9% of the total final energy consumption in the Philippines, with the country importing 168.57 million barrels of petroleum products in 2022. Only 559 million barrels of oil have been produced by the GAC field, not even 1% of the country's demand. Meanwhile, indigenous gas from the Malampaya reservoir in Palawan is nearing depletion after 24 years of operations. The Malampaya Deepwater Gas-to-Power project accounts for 30% of power consumption in Luzon. The Philippines has diverse geological basins that offer hydrocarbon resource potential. However, of the 17 sedimentary basins, not one can be considered extensively explored. Since the shift from a concession framework to a service contract system in 1972, only 263 exploration wells have been drilled, resulting in 41 oil discoveries and 11 gas finds. In comparison, Indonesia and Malaysia each drill more than 250 wells annually. The Philippines stands at a crossroads. By overcoming geopolitical hurdles and investing in exploration and production, it can transform its economy, secure energy independence, and improve the lives of its people. The journey is challenging, but the rewards are immense. With its untapped oil wealth, the Philippines is truly sitting on a mountain of gold, ready to fuel its future. The future of the Philippines hinges on its ability to navigate several key challenges and leverage its natural resources effectively. If the country can overcome geopolitical hurdles, invest in exploration and production, and develop the necessary infrastructure, it stands to gain significant economic benefits. The discovery and utilization of domestic oil and gas reserves could lead to energy independence, reduced inflation, and overall economic growth. Resolving geopolitical disputes, particularly in the contested Spratly Islands, will be crucial. Diplomatic efforts and international mediation might be necessary to reach agreements with neighboring countries like China, Malaysia, and Vietnam. Encouraging offshore investment and developing LNG infrastructure will be critical. Ensuring the sanctity of contracts and creating a favorable investment climate can attract more foreign investment. Increasing the number of exploration wells and effectively managing the transition from depleted fields to new ones will be key. International bodies such as the International Energy Agency might view the Philippines' potential shift from an oil importer to an exporter positively, as it aligns with global efforts to diversify energy sources and reduce dependence on single markets. The Association of Southeast Asian Nations may support the Philippines' efforts to develop its energy sector, as regional cooperation can enhance energy security and economic stability for all member states. The United Nations might focus on the environmental impact of increased oil and gas production. Sustainable development goals emphasize the need for clean energy, and the Philippines might be encouraged to balance fossil fuel development with renewable energy investments. The World Bank and International Monetary Fund might offer support in terms of funding and expertise for developing energy infrastructure. They might also advise on economic policies to manage the revenue from increased oil and gas production.